Hello! The purpose of this video is to discuss the benefits of real-world evidence compared to randomized clinical trials. Randomized clinical trials, RCTs, consist in randomly creating groups of patients among those who meet selection criteria. This is the principle of randomization. They are used to evaluate and demonstrate the efficacy and safety of a drug or of a medical device or a healthcare strategy. They are carried out within a strict framework, with advantages by limiting potential bias and with disadvantages by limiting transposability of results. They are the gold standard in terms of level of evidence and causality. The difference between the randomized groups can be attributed to the treatment. In addition, real-world evidence, known as RWE, which is based on observational data, may aim to explore effectiveness and safety in everyday practice. Although they may be subject to certain biases that must be limited by a rigorous methodology, they may reveal effects that cannot be detected in RCTs. Compare the two types of studies. In clinical trials, patients are selected according to verified inclusion and exclusion criteria in order to evaluate the treatment under ideal conditions. In real-world evidence, the focus is on the actual population treated, including all patients who meet the definition of the population of interest. The sample size of RCT is limited to the number of patients necessary to provide sufficient statistical power to meet the primary objective, whereas in real-world evidence, the population can be numerically larger. This allows for the detection of rare events, for example. The data collected during a clinical trial are specific to the study, in controlled environment, under defined and homogeneous conditions. Compliance with treatment is optimized in an experimental setting. In real-world evidence, data are collected during routine care without intervention on the usual management modalities. The level of compliance to therapy is routine. In addition, patients in clinical trials are recruited from selected national or international investigative centers, whereas real-world data may recruit from all practitioners, including treated physicians, representative of national management. The main difference lies on the allocation of the treatment received. In a randomized clinical trial, the treatment is randomly selected to ensure comparability of the treatment groups on all factors, observed or not. In real-world data, the treatments received depend on many factors, depending on the characteristics and preferences of physicians, patients, and caregivers. A clinical study has limited follow-up time with short or medium-term endpoints, whereas real-world evidence may have a longer follow-up time with, for example, retrospective data collection that goes far back into the patient history and continuous follow-up. Long-term efficacy results can be studied easier and faster, as well as tolerance, possibly over several years. On the other hand, the cost of data collection per patient is often higher for clinical trials, which require significant logistics. In addition, the time between the beginning of the study and the availability of the results is often shorter for observational studies in real-world settings. Real-world evidence is a real complement to clinical studies and is currently the subject of particular attention by national and international health authorities, with a research for robust methodology. We can mention the HIS guide published in 2021 or the Darwin EU initiative of the European Medicines Agency. Thank you.